PharmaPhobic is powered by Achieve the Lifestyle, a company dedicated to helping you empower your health, redefine your lifestyle, and all for the health of it. You're listening to PharmaPhobic, where we challenge the state of health in America. I'm Janie, a physician assistant, and I've seen how healthcare keeps people dependent instead of truly healthy.
And I'm Dan, a veteran turned fitness pro here to uncover the truth and explore simple and sustainable health solutions. From Big Pharma to Big Food, we're exposing the conflicts of interest keeping us sick and finding better ways to take back our health.
No fluff, no gimmicks, just real talk, real solutions, and a little bit of fun along the way.
Well, hello guys. Welcome to another episode of PharmaPhobic, powered by Achieve the Lifestyle, where we help you become the strongest, healthiest, and most capable version of yourself. We also help you stay pharma-free.
Hi.
Hello, Janie.
Hi, Dan.
My lovely wife here today.
Yeah.
She's always lovely.
We just want to start off today by saying good morning to everyone except people who don't pick up their dog poop.
Fam, let me tell you something. I was driving, so Saturday mornings before we come record, I go and pick up my farm fresh raw milk. It's delicious. And no, it hasn't killed me yet, in case you were wondering. Anyway, coming back, I take this little route through a neighborhood, and I see this older gentleman with two dogs. One of the dogs was taking a poop. So I drive past, and I kind of look, because I had a feeling. And yes, he walked away, guys. He walked away from his dog taking a poop in this beautifully manicured public area, and he just walked away. No, he didn't even try to he didn't even look back at it.
He didn't even fake I don't have a bag.
I don't have a bag. He didn't do any of that. He just walked away. Because, you know, where we live in this little there's a bunch of condos and communities in the same place. And every now and then you find a steaming pile of crap. And you're like, how do you just let your dog do this giant dookie thing right here and you walk away?
Giant dookie thing.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's bigger than just a giant dookie. It's like a giant dookie thing.
Speaking of giant dookies, we got a new dog.
Yeah, we have a new doggy.
And she was a rescue. She still is very timid. So she was holding her poop. And the first one she finally took, I had to FaceTime Dan to show him because it was so large.
And she's not a big dog.
No.
She is not. She might be like 40 pounds, maybe.
It was 2 bags. Took 2 bags.
Yeah. She's a squatty little thing too. She's a little squatty little thing.
Her prison name was Queen, but we're naming her Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And she looks like a coffee bean because we thought she was black, but then when the sun hits her, she's like a combination of brown and black, this sort of thing.
She's dark roast.
Dark roast Maggie. Cutie pie. She's a little sweetie pie. So anyway, you pet, she feels like velvet too when you pet doggies. So you get like this little oxytocin thing going. You feel really good. It's really healthy for you to have doggies, guys.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
Rolo is meh about it. He's coming around.
Old man Rolo.
Yeah, he's not yelling at her anymore whenever she approaches his area. So that's good.
It's funny because his area Rolo is a soft surface guy. So he's got multiple areas of lane. He's got the couch. He's got his doggy couch. He's got the bed. And he'll just kind of cycle through them periodically throughout the day. And on his bed, he doesn't care. But on the couch, he cares.
Yeah.
Or when he's on the bed, he cares.
I think it's because like he's higher looking down. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But they're getting better. There's an 11-year difference between the two of them. Rolo's very old. Maggie, fortunately, is very chill. So I think we've had her I picked her up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So 5 days. So I think, a good month or two, they should be right as rain.
You know what's funny, too? The sleep's been a little bit questionable lately. Like, I feel like I'm just waking up in the middle of the night and just like, I can't fall asleep again, which is, I've been struggle busting with sleep for ages, but I don't know. It's changed a little bit. But Janie's like that too. And it's funny because you're
Just
like,
lately.
but yeah, what I'm saying, I was going to say, you're like motherly AF right now. Like, she's like, oh my God, but what if Maggie? And here's the funny thing. Maggie's supposed to be my doggo. My doggo.
I'd like everyone to refer back to, was it just a few episodes ago when Dan said, make your life easier, get a Janie. So Dan's been wanting a dog for almost a year now. And I'm like, he's like, I want a dog. I'm like, cool, go get one.
No, that's not accurate.
Yes,
I went and looked at a doggo and you told me no.
She was too big.
Husbands, y'all know what I'm talking about when the wife tells you no. And then all of a sudden she's like, go get what you want. And then you're going to go get what you want. And she doesn't want that. So that's where we were at.
You didn't even take Rollo to go meet her.
Because I told you, like, she's down the street. I was looking at this dog that was being fostered literally down the street from our place.
She was too big. She was too close to Rollo's size and weight.
She was a chunky baby.
Yeah.
But I said, Janie, we should take Rollo. No.
So anyway, we went and looked and it just felt right. And so I was the one who took Rollo to meet her. I was the one who picked her up and brought her home.
Why did you
I was the one who...
Could you tell the kind people that listen to this podcast why you were the one to take Rollo to meet her?
I have Tuesdays off. I scheduled it to when I would be off, and you were going to come with me, but then you forgot to reschedule one of your clients. So please do not put that all on me.
2 clients. Forgot to reschedule 2 clients. But...
Probably because I didn't remind you, right?
Maybe. Maybe.
Anyway, she's my dog. No, I'm kidding. No. The goal is for Dan to take her to the gym. That's what he wants. I do have a more flexible schedule than him right now, so I am going to be spending more time with her on certain days. But
just imagine, gym doggos are thing. Like, just imagine this sweet little thing is sitting in a little corner, and you could walk up and pet the little doggy while you're doing your workout.
Yeah. But I think it's going to take time because we don't know her history. If she was abused, unsure. She was a stray found with 7 puppies. So she's a little mama. But so we're still trying to figure her out. But what was I going to say? I'm being really motherly right now.
Yeah, extra motherly. She's like waking up in the middle of the night. I don't know what Maggie's doing. I
know Rollo's sounds. So I know, like, this sound is X, Y, or Z, right? I mean, anybody who has a dog or kids, like, you understand their sounds. I don't know her sounds yet. So her just kind of rustling around in her crate because she sleeps in the crate at night. It's open, but she feels safe there. Her rustling around, I'm like, oh, I'm up because I'm like, does she need to go out? What does she need to do? But she's just adjusting, so it's fine. I just need to learn it.
Yeah, she's a little cutie pie. If we could insert a video of her right now, you guys would agree that she's a little cutie pie.
Anyway, we've gotten really off topic.
Oh, yeah, we're just talking about incidentals about health. But on to the health stuff now. Today, I missed my page, lost my page here in my trusty, rusty notebook. I had it all out. Okay.
Trusty, rusty.
We talk about some health news today. And if we got some quick fire topics if we get there, because this topic is very interesting that we got going on today. Okay, we're going to talk about this article that Penn State put out.
Oh, nice.
Yep. And Penn State, it's from their Social Science Research Institute. Mm-hmm. Okay. Basically, this article, the conclusion that this article, based on one of their studies, their Social Science Research Institute study, they concluded that American adults in the future will spend half their life or more on prescription medications. Now, let's think about that for a second. So they're saying you're going to spend 40, 50 years on prescription medications, and not just one of them, multiple of them. And that's what the future of health looks like in this country. Lots of prescription medications. So let's dig into this. They say you're going to be on prescription medications longer than you're married, longer than the time you spend getting education, which depending on what you study, it's upwards 20 years when you count from K through 12, and then maybe you go and get a PhD. You're looking at 20 years of education, right? How they reached this conclusion, they conducted a survey. Basically, they took surveys from this Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality and from the old trusty CDC. Okay?
Yep.
Old trusty CDC. So, and they looked at data from 1996 to 2019. That's a whole lot of data. They took information from 15,000 households and they collected surveys every 5 months versus the yearly ones because they had better recall of what was going on in these households, okay? And they were connected with the pharmacies and their healthcare providers so they could see what scripts and prescriptions these people were being put on, okay? Now, stop right there. Let's think about this for a second. What do we think so far? Half of your life on prescription medication.
Yeah.
You believe it?
Yes.
I think we're there already. They're saying we're going there. I think we're.
Yeah, especially when we talked about whether it was the last episode or the episode before that, a few episodes ago, 1 in 3 children have pre-diabetes now. And so the likelihood of that progressing to diabetes, necessitating the need for medications, which I'll get into a second. Once you're on one, the likelihood of you needing to be on another is great. And so, I believe it. And I think you'll see higher rates of drug use and years on drugs, prescription drugs in the future.
Yeah. And what are the shortcomings you think we see from this? Like this is problematic, guys, because this means that the cost of healthcare is going to go up yet again, and everybody loves that because it's that many people having to consistently access and constantly access healthcare.
Yeah, so I think the thing is like what I always say with the reliance on pharmaceutical medications just makes the spotlight go to funding more pharmaceutical interventions. Like, how can we make those better? Because whenever a novel drug comes out to manage something, it usually has unsavory side effects, right? The more they make other medications, the less side effects it has, when really it's just more side effects of a different kind are likely to develop. But anyway, theoretically, they can hone in more on what they actually are trying to manage without just kind of this huge broad approach, which a lot of medications do, which I read a book that's going to tie into this, Your Brain on Birth Control. And the word side effect with medications is not, we shouldn't be saying that, right? Because it's not a side effect. It's an effect of the medication. You don't take like ibuprofen and say, okay, go to my knee because that hurts. Oh, I get a GI bleed from taking ibuprofen every single day. That's not a side effect. That's an effect. The medication had an effect on my gastric lining, causing a bleed. It's not a side effect.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's facts right there.
Yeah.
I think what I worry about is the incentives. Again, show me the incentives. I'll show you the outcomes.
Or you're like, so sorry, how I started saying this, it's going to put more money into drugs, less money away from how do we address this? How do we prevent it? How do we solve this?
Yeah, I can't stand it, and it makes me want to punch the air so badly when we look at all these health problems and the conversation is always around medicating it. When we start talking about solutions, we never hone in on prevention. And this is from the lowest levels to the highest levels. People that are making policy and public health policy and dealing with pharmaceutical companies and the government and all this stuff. Rarely do you get people talking about root causes and, when looking at solutions, actually addressing prevention, right? They're always like, oh, we need to get the pharmaceuticals company. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't need to get the pharmaceutical companies involved. Like, stop it right now.
Yeah.
You know? And it when we talk about incentives, the fact that more and more people, these people at all these pharmaceutical companies, they're tied in with Wall Street. They're looking at these projections. They're like, hey, more and more people are going to need medications, which, listen, if you are wearing your hat right now, buckle up that chin strap and wear it tight, because you could say that this is a design, that this is the way that this thing was created by them. Anyway, the incentives for research are going to be to just focus on pills because there's
Right.
going to be a lot of money there. This is where, people that complain about the way scientific research is conducted in this country, because a lot of those researchers, and I'm not saying that if you're a scientific researcher, you're a bad person or none of that, or that you're bought and paid for, but I'm kind of saying that there's a lot of controls here in place. A lot of those, they'll have them research drugs as a solution to certain problems, and then they'll give them royalties, if you will, from the sales of said drug if it goes to market. Now, when drugs come into market initially, they're under patent, which is why in that first couple of years of them, while they're under patent, they're quite pricey, right? And the drugs that become cheaper over time is because they're out of patent and now everybody can use them. So multiple, compounding pharmacies and multiple pharmaceutical companies can make a version of it. So now it's widely available. But while they're under patent, this one pharmaceutical company controls it.
Yep.
So they control the price of it, right?
Yep.
Part of the reason why, when you start wondering why medications are so expensive, there it is. It's the patent versus non-patented. Think something like metformin, which has been around for ages. It's no longer under patent, fairly cheap, right? And then you start thinking about something like Wegovy or something like that, still under patent, and they're going to find ways to expand the patent because now they're saying that Wegovy freaking will give you luscious hair and,
False.
Yeah, exactly.
It
But, they're saying that it's going to...
No, they don't. No, what they're actually saying is that now it has an indication for coronary artery disease, sleep apnea. There's
anti-aging effects. It's reversing biological age.
There's some evidence out there that it helps with kidney function and all these things, which no duh. Sorry, we're trying not to cuss. I have to go back to like the 90s slang, but insulin resistance is a driving factor of a lot of these things, and Wegovy, the GLPs are addressing insulin resistance at a cellular level. Therefore, it's going to help with some of these things. You can get the same effect if either currently or years ago, like if we checked a fasting insulin, we started saying, okay, let's avoid heavily processed foods. Let's make sure we're getting adequate protein. Let's increase our lean muscle mass. All these things could incite the same results as a GLP. Now, you saying this reminds me of a discussion I had with somebody on a platform with the programming that we follow. I'm on a Discord, and there was a gentleman on there who never told us what his profession was. I said, I'm a family medicine PA. He says he sedates people, so I'm assuming he's an anesthesiologist or CRNA in some capacity. But he wouldn't specify. He made a comment. He was talking about GLPs and how being a bag of bones is favorable than being morbidly obese, which I challenged that because, yes, being morbidly obese has its problems, but so does being a bag of bones, okay? That's not what I'm going to get into, but just to give a little bit of foundation of where this conversation came from. Then he goes on to say, because he was pro GLP in this discussion, go on to say pharmaceutical medications are needed. They've done wonders for things like allergies, hypertension, and he rattled off a few other things.
A list of preventable stuff.
Right. Well, the thing is that I don't disagree that medications for allergies and hypertension and things like that are needed if we're so far gone, right? However, or to kind of put out a fire. Like if your blood pressure is systolic's over 200, if your allergies, your eyes are swollen and you can't breathe through your nose, yes, put out the fire, okay? However, chronic maintenance of these things, lifestyle plays a huge role in this, and we know it. And if he is a conventionally trained physician or advanced practitioner, I guarantee you that he does not remember that hypertension is a result of insulin resistance, which can be mitigated through lifestyle management. And so I didn't get into this because it's not a discussion I want to have via text, and I'm not trying to be like fight with somebody with a keyboard, but it's so it just makes me so angry that the reason why so many people are on pharmaceutical medications is because the people prescribing these medications do not know lifestyle means to prevent or manage these things as readily as they do what medications, the side effects, how to dose it, how to best prescribe it, and all these things.
Yeah, I always fall on this thing that you didn't solve it. You didn't solve a damn thing. You didn't solve anything. You didn't solve anything. And I hate, this is like a pet peeve of mine in my life. It just, OCD-ish. I've always been like this. If I'm going to address something, I want it solved. I don't want to manage it. I don't want to mitigate it. I am going to beat my head against the wall until I solve the problem. That's where my mind goes to. And essentially, you could argue that this is what we're doing here in the PharmaPhobic podcast. We're beating our heads against the wall to solve the problem of chronic illness in this country, which is going to bankrupt this country if it keeps going the way it is. It's going to set us up for massive failure. And we'll get into why. So, Good point there. That was a good conversation. And that dude, when I read the thread, Janie showed it to me. I was like, whoa, holy pharmaceutical commercial in the Discord thread. What the hell's going on here?
Who's he getting money from?
Yeah, who's he getting money from to drop these comments in here? You're like, hey, we got a freaking pharma rep in the Discord. What the hell, man? So he just came in from the top row. No, you take these medications right here, guy. In a Discord thread full of people that want to eat steak, strength coaches, people that are there to lift weights and be badasses. And here comes this guy.
I would love to have a conversation. And I want to see him. I'm not like saying like, I want to talk, like, let me talk to him. I'm not saying it like that, but I would love to have a conversation with him in person to understand where he's coming from and to understand, but also share with him where I'm coming from, because so much is lost in text, typing. So, and
it's also, there's always a disconnect between the specialist and the concierge types, and then the frontline people, or what we would call the frontline people, that it's the primary care that deal with people every day with every single ailment they have. Versus if you're back here and you got your little concierge practice, or you're back here and you're the specialist, it's something to say like, hey, you're gonna see a lot of stuff if you're in primary versus the specialties. Not to take anything away from them, but just saying that's the way the cookie crumbles, right?
Right.
That it's so funny. Read the room, bro. That was not the thread for that. Anyway. So here they say, back to our conversation, the majority of American men are on prescriptions by age 40. 42, not one prescription, baby. Boom. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, this is where I'm going to bring back in hypertension, because I feel like specifically men, just because women our wonderful best friend estrogen protects us from a lot of cardiovascular things until menopause. But with men, it's almost like an acceptable thing, like, oh, I have high blood pressure, I need to be on a medication once you hit a certain age.
And then they start giving you this hereditary conversation, which I hate the genetic conversation too, because it's an excuse. It's a default excuse. Yes, certain things are going to happen genetically, but when you say that all the time, it's like, well, genetics, my dad had high blood pressure. Cool. You're like giving yourself a pass to not do anything about it.
And I would argue that I've seen this time and time again, hypertension, and then, okay, here's a med. No, like, maybe the only lifestyle intervention is get some regular physical activity and don't consume too much salt. That doesn't address, the salt argument, that just messes with your volume status, which if you have a lot of salt and you're holding a lot of excess fluid, your blood pressure can be higher. Okay, well, let's look at where you're getting your salt. Are you taking in 5 elements a day? Or are you eating Cheetos? Okay, most likely they're eating Cheetos and deli meat. Okay.
Yeah, very likely, actually.
And then with the activity, I'll say this as much as I can. A recommendation of get more exercise is a poor recommendation. How do these people need to get exercise? What type of exercise? What does their current lifestyle allow for exercise? And do medical professionals know that physical activity will decrease blood pressure for approximately 4 hours? So would it be better advice to say, hey, I want you to insert little exercise throughout the day, like maybe walk after meals to help sustain good blood pressure control throughout the day?
And we could talk about the benefits of zone 2 cardio there with the flexibility of your heart and that sort of thing and your arteries. I mean, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
You need to exercise, people. Like, come on. And
You need to exercise, but practitioners, people treating hypertension, identifying hypertension, telling people, hey, your blood pressure's starting to creep up, let's watch this, need to be educated on how to best utilize activity and exercise to prevent and manage diseases.
yeah, and it's funny because, I mean, a lot of people, when they come to you with an issue and you start talking about hypertension and this sort of thing, you know, you're usually dealing, 9 out of 10, you're going to be dealing with somebody that's carrying some extra weight. They're going to present a certain way physically, right? And you can kind of start telling, okay, obviously things are not going ideally here, right?
Right.
And, you know, it's not that we want to judge every book by its cover, but you can kind of see, be like, hey, I'm 40-year-old male. I'm coming in with hypertension or high blood pressure or whatever, and I'm 30 pounds overweight. You know, that's 9 out of 10 what
eat
you're going to
less,
see.
exercise more, follow up with me in 3 months.
Exactly.
Eat less, exercise more, follow up with me in 3 months.
Take
Eat
this
sex,
statin,
exercise.
boom.
Oh, wait, now your blood pressure's 150 over 90, has been consecutively. Here's a medication. That's the progression.
Yeah, and then they'll ask you, any family history of high blood pressure? Like, yeah, my dad had high blood pressure. Okay, so yeah, you need this stuff, which I always contend, you know, I don't know, man.
And then certain high blood pressure. And so Dan will go into men generally are on more medications. And then are you getting ready to talk about the polypharmacy yet?
Well, not yet, because I said men are on prescriptions by age 40, which people might think, yeah, that's old. That's old. That's normal.
I'm 40. Back off.
Yeah, that's normal. You're 40. You're old. You're gonna need some pills. So what's the big deal, right?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. If you believe that you're 40-year-old, you need some pills. What's the big deal? Oh, God bless you. God bless you. Anyway, but
Bless
women,
your heart.
bless your heart if you believe I'm 40, you're old, you need some pills. Big deal. Okay. You know, it doesn't have to be that way, guys.
Right.
Like, this isn't, you know, a lot of people, and I'm sure people do this exercise every now and then. You go on Facebook and you look, especially if you're our age, and you look at people that you went to high school with, and you start seeing this, and you don't even need to do that. Just go to freaking Target one day, and you start seeing people that are your age or even younger than you, and they got one foot in the grave. They're turned 40. They're ready they're like packing it up already. Like, it's over. It's like, no, that's not how this works, you know? And I mean, if you feel like you don't belong here and you feel like, yeah, I just need to put one foot in the grave right now, then it is what it is for you. But that it doesn't have to be that way is what I'm trying to say. You could be strong, super healthy. You're just beginning at 40. I mean, men don't reach their full income potential till their 50s. So you got time, bro. Like, stay healthy, my guy. But more concerning than men being 40, what's the big deal? You're 40, you need some pills. Let's go to women.
Yep.
You want to guess what the age for women to jump on prescriptions is?
16.
15. You were good. Good job, Janie. So women.
Thank you. It's like I'm a woman or something.
Oh, good job. That was a nice little zinger you got in there. It was a nice little zinger. Little
It's going to be birth control.
little smart alecky there. Yes. So women are on prescriptions by age 15. So yes, for women, it is birth control. It's like you're a woman or something. Yeah. But it's not just birth control. Guess what's the other one?
Antidepressants.
Correct. Psychotherapeutic drugs. So by
Which-
age 15, lots of women are already on the polypharmacy train.
Let me
with
go off on this, please.
birth control and psychotherapeutic drugs. Janie, tell us about the struggle for women. What's going on here?
First of all, birth control is not a Band-Aid, and it's used as one. Okay.
Hey, you got pimples. You need to go on birth control.
Right.
Forget
You have
about
really
eating.
bad cramping, you need to go on birth control. You have really bad bleeding, you need to go on birth control, which again, if the bleeding is to the point developing anemia, put out the fire, that's fine. However, there are better ways to address a healthy menstrual cycle than slapping somebody on birth control, in which case you just suppress their hormones. When you suppress somebody's hormones before, especially a woman before the age of 19, 20, 21, you are directly, potentially affecting their brain development. The brain has not fully formed yet. We know that. That's when we talked about with weed, right? And then you're going to put up, well, what's the big deal? Hormones don't affect the 100% they do. Okay? The whole influence of your hormones from your ovaries comes from your brain, the hypothalamus to the pituitary gland to the gonads or the ovaries or the testicles and the
people
mid.
think that hormones don't what?
Affect the brain.
Are you serious?
I'm just saying, like,
No. I mean, I'm sure there are people
Yeah.
there that believe that hormones in the brain have nothing to do. Okay,
we have
cool.
hormone receptors all over our body. So when you give somebody a birth control pill, again, it's not a side effect, it's an effect. It's going to affect every hormone receptor in your body. And some of it can affect your brain, your thought process. For some women get on birth control, they feel great. They flourish. That's awesome. Some women, they get on, or girls in this case, get on birth control and their mood dumps. They don't feel like themselves. They feel withdrawn. They don't do things that they used to do anymore. They think something's wrong with them. And it's subtle. It's not just like, boom, I feel this one day. I know it's when I started taking the pill. It's very subtle and it builds over time.
Because that thing has like a loading phase, right? Like it's
it's just going to take time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they go back to their provider. I don't feel like myself. I feel kind of down. Here's Zoloft, Prozac, Lexapro. Pick your favorite. And so now, before the age of 20, women are on more than one medication. There was a study done in that book, Your Brain on Birth Control. Some other country, I want to say Sweden or Denmark or something like that, I can't remember. They reviewed medical records of women who have been prescribed birth control and women who have been prescribed antidepressants. And the higher women of a certain age group, they were more likely to be on an antidepressant if they were on birth control than if they were not. And so that goes into, one, there's not enough studies on women's hormones and menstrual cycles, which I understand it's expensive to do it because it's not like with men whose hormones kind of, cycle through a day.
24-hour cycle.
Yeah. Okay, men, we can study them fine. Women, okay, we have to find these women, get a good population. What's the word for it?
Control group.
Get a good number of people in a group who are all in the same part of their cycle.
Yep, and then you got to put all these controls,
Yes,
and then you're looking at least 30-day observation.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so yes, there are barriers to being able to study women in studies, but it needs to happen. And I think Danielle, my friend who we had on the podcast, spoke to us. It wasn't until the 90s where they started requiring women to be in studies for medications. Now, a lot of the drugs that were out in market before the 90s, the studies were only done on men, and they just say probably the same for women, so this applies for women as well. Statins are one. The doses for statins of women are way too high as they stand now.
I think they get more side effects too. Women get a lot more side effects off this.
If the doses are too high, you're going to get more effects.
Let me correct that. Effects.
There we go.
Yeah.
And so the polypharmacy, a lot of times with anything, especially as you see anyone you know, loved ones, patients, clients, as they get older, a lot of times they're giving medications because it's a side effect of a medication they're already on. Whether or not the provider readily knows that, I don't know. I can give an example I've talked about before. Statins have a high risk of causing diabetes. Now you're on a diabetes medication. Metformin, great. Metformin over 1,500 milligrams, and the max dose and standard dose is 2,000 milligrams, can cause a B vitamin deficiency. A B vitamin deficiency causes neuropathy. Are people checking B vitamins in primary care? No, they're not. So now you have somebody who has diabetes presenting with numbness and tingling. That's neuropathy. Here's your gabapentin. Do you see how this happens?
Woo! That's my head was spinning there from hearing all of that. Moving on to this polypharmacy situation before I go there. So what it adds up to: men going into prescriptions by age 40 and women by age 15. Which I think of myself when I was 15. No, I was not a 15-year-old girl, but I knew a lot of 15-year-old girls. I grew up with two 15-year-old girls. Like I have two sisters, so I saw two. saw it twice, and it was something. I gotta tell you, y'all, women, we love you, but y'all are something at 15.
Y'all men are just something always.
That's right. We're awesome all the time. Boys rule and girls drool. Anyway.
No, so if we're trying not to cuss, then we just need to start watching The Simpsons and start getting like Bart and Lisa. No, Bart and Lisa like banter. Like eat my shorts.
Nice. And Ned Flanders would be a good example too. What this adds up to is 48% of the average male's life will be spent on some form of prescription. And for women, it's 60% of their life.
Yep.
Man, that's serious. That's a lot. I mean, wow. That's a sentence, essentially. That's a ball and chain.
Yep.
Think of it. 'Cause you're like, oh, just take my pills, you know. Now, depending on what you're on, there's some schedules that you have to follow. And you can't you can't go camping or something. You know, you got to be near your meds all the time. You got to, it's a ball and chain. That's what it becomes. It's a ball and chain. So.
Yeah, when we talk about being pharma free, emphasize freedom. You're not stuck to a medication plan, you know, and Dan and I take supplements. So it's like, yeah, I have to take this one in the morning, this one in the evening. If I miss it, okay. When we travel, I don't have to take them with me. I choose to take some. None of them required to be refrigerated. We're not going to have any bad effects if we skip a day, which a lot of prescription medications you can. Plus what we talked about with Danielle, you don't take your meds for a little bit. You're labeled non-compliant. It messes with the refill timing of the pharmacy. Insurance may not pay for it. So it's just.
Well, I mean, and some of these medications, when you don't take them you miss a day and then things are just all start going haywire. The wheels start coming off. I mean, listen, you might think like, oh, I just pack my meds in this thing and I got to pack all these meds and I got my little thing with the days and the 25 pills that I got to take each day. Man, that's a wild life. Like, that's a wild life. Really, there's a better way, guys. Mm-hmm. Really, let's not get there to where you're tied and tethered to filling prescriptions and having to go here or stay here or not being able to do this and that because of side effect of this medication, or I need to refill this, or I didn't take this and I'm going crazy because I didn't take it, you know, like, or it's sad to me, really. It's when I see that people falling into that cycle there, it's sad. It's a sad thing. Where men, their medication is, what do you think it is?
For men, medication?
Yeah, women, it's birth control and psychotherapeutic.
It's going to be antihypertensives or statins.
That's exactly what it is. Statins and cardiovascular drugs. Oh. Yeah.
It's like I'm a medical provider.
Yeah, it's like you do this. It's like you do this for a living or something. It's like you know what you're talking about. Yeah. So here we go into the rates of polypharmacy, which is when you're on multiple medications. It's risen dramatically. Now, in this article, they don't put a percentage to it, but they're talking basically in the 90s, you could find a lot of people on one medication, right? And the rate of polypharmacy was way lower. What are they calling polypharmacy? They're calling 5 or more.
5 or more, okay.
Which I say if you're on 2, you're polypharmacy, but 5 or more, they're saying. But now, this day and age, if you're on 1, the chances of you being going on 5 or more are like dramatically higher, which is, I mean, holy crap, 5 or more?
Yeah.
5 or, and what the concern is here, 5 or more. The long-term effects of taking these meds are unknown, especially when you're going to spend 40 or 50 years on them.
I wouldn't say that they're not all unknown. Like, we know statins can increase risk of diabetes. We know that long-term use of PPIs, so those are proton pump inhibitors. So that's going to be your Nexium, Prilosec, omeprazole, pantoprazole, esomeprazole, lansoprazole, azole. So with these medications, they're supposed to be used for 8 weeks and then tapered off. People are on them for years.
Yeah, I've known people on PPIs for 14 years.
Yeah, now they're finding issues with kidney disease from it, decreased absorption of important vitamins and minerals, therefore leading to decreased bone density.
Gallbladder stones.
And, gallbladder issues. And then also can increase your risk of diabetes.
And then let's not even talk about nutrient deficiency because your gut isn't absorbing the stuff that you're eating.
Right.
This is wild. So you could be taking in a lot of food, but your body's not absorbing it. Oh, dear Lord. So long-term effects, they're saying they're largely unknown because now we're not talking about being on it for 2 or 3 years, which you see what the side effects there. We're talking about being on it for 40. And a lot of these medications have under 5 decades in market, statins and all that sort of thing. So they don't know what it looks like when somebody's been on a statin for 50 years, when somebody's been on metformin for 50 years, which is the way that this thing is trending.
Nor if they don't know that, then they don't know what happens when let me just think of a concoction. What happens when somebody's on a statin, a beta blocker, an aspirin, metformin, and lisinopril for 20 years.
Exactly.
Not just those medications by themselves, what long-term effects they have, but what are these combinations of medications?
Exactly. So that's what they point out to. Because of that, they don't know what the interaction with other meds is going to look like. And you've seen it happen. You share things all the time, like my specialist put me on this, my primary care put me on that, and then somewhere in there it gets caught like, oh, you can't be on these two things at the same time. And by the time that gets caught, people are already on these two things at the same time, or 2 or 3 things, or I'm on this, and then they throw this at you from a specialist, and then next thing you know, you're like, wait, you're on these 2 things, you can't be on this one because these 2 things do this and this one does that, and now you're doing advanced chemistry in the 15 minutes that you have with somebody. And that's if they tell you or if the notes are properly taken and you can see this wide, crazy, encyclopedic medical history that people are going to have and you can catch it.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at people potentially, dying or really having really complicated health events because it was missed from their encyclopedic medical record that they were on this and that and that and this things conflicted and created a concoction that made things even worse.
Yeah. And I think this is only why I said I think it's going to get worse, because of the increase in obesity that I 100% agree needs to be addressed. But we need to address it from a lifestyle component equally, if not more so than the medications. Okay. And you'll have some providers or advocates of patients say, well, lifestyle doesn't work. It's not enough. Well, that's because the general recommendations from the U.S. government on like the food pyramid, or as we've talked about, the American Heart Association, which sets the tone for nutrition recommendations for the American Diabetes and American Oncology Association, their recommendations are crap. Okay. So that's why it's not impactful. So we need to get truly unbiased, evidence-based dietary recommendations to help people use the medications like GLPs when I've said like too far, you have a BMI of 60, 70, or you have a BMI of 40 or maybe the high 30s and you have wicked heart disease, and we need to just bring down the weight at the sacrifice of everything else just to give your body a break. That's what it's coming down to, okay? However, with the use of GLPs in people who do not have significant comorbidities or who haven't addressed their lifestyle thoroughly, hired a nutritionist, gotten a personal trainer, done stress management, resolved their traumas, have their mineral status, their gut health, all these things addressed, if needed, now they're on these GLP medications. Okay. Now it's affecting their absorption of minerals. Now we're going to see a decrease in bone density. Okay, here's your bisphosphonate. Now we see you're losing your hair because you're not intaking enough to be able to, for your body to give a crap about hair production. Here's your hair supplement, which isn't a prescription medication, but Nutrifoil is a popular one, right? Now your gallbladder, because you lost weight too rapidly, you need to have surgery to get that out. Now you might need like a bile acid sequestrant or something like that to help you digest food. Okay. Now you're tired all the time. Now you need something for your energy. Maybe you're anemic now. Now you need to take an iron pill. So I think it's going to grow up or blow up with the use of GLPs. I have also seen with previous weight loss medications like phentermine, which is a stimulant, appetite suppressant. Stimulant increases heart rate.
Phentermine?
Phentermine. It's a little bit different than fen was taken off, right? It's a little bit different.
You're old enough to remember when fen was on the market.
Yeah.
People just dropping heart attacks.
So I had a conversation, this was a few years ago, with an endocrinologist who had a patient on phentermine for a year. This is 3 months or less. It's to jumpstart your weight loss because it helps with sugar cravings. Had her on for over a year. She wasn't losing significant amount of weight, but her blood pressure was creeping up. So her endocrinologist said, follow up with your primary to continue, because she started her on amlodipine, which is a blood pressure medication. Follow up with your primary for continuation of this and optimization of this medication. I called the endocrinologist. Why don't we take away the phentermine? Instead of putting her on a blood pressure medication, why don't we take away a medication that's known to drive up blood pressure? Well, because her weight, what dietary? Has she worked with a nutritionist? Is she getting regular exercise? Is she doing strength training? Is she doing all these things? Why do we need phentermine for a year? If she's not at her goal weight after 3 months, how is insurance even still covering it? So.
What a. Oh my God.
You were? Yeah. And it's not FDA approved for that. Some providers can do it. You have to be closely monitored, but it's just, we're suppressing your appetite. So then you're not getting enough nutrients, which is going to drive the body to be super efficient, to hold on to as much energy as it can in the form of storing fat. What are we doing?
I'll tell you what we're doing. I'm going to tell you what we're doing because we're talking about the incentives now. So you get all millions of people polypharmacy, and you get them polypharmacy to that polypharmacy level younger, and they're going to live these long lives, which they say, oh, we're increasing lifespan. People are living longer these days. No, they're not. We actually reversed our freaking morbidity or mortality age. Name's escaping me right now. The Laird is wearing off. My coffee's wearing off, guys.
Mortality.
Yeah, the age.
Death rate,
like the average age at which people die.
Life expectancy.
Woo! Dear Lord, when the coffee wears off, you see this brain fog. We talk about this later. This is environmental, guys.
Goes back to his sleep.
Exactly. But whatever. Life expectancy for us.
But wait, maybe we should just give him Vyvanse.
Oh, yeah.
Or Adderall.
Yeah, I got ideas. Give me that stuff.
I'm sorry.
Well, the life expectancy has reversed, as we saw. This happened about 2 years ago, where we went from 78 to 76 in the most advanced country in the world, supposedly, allegedly, with the most robust healthcare system that spends the most money on healthcare in the world. Our life expectancy creeped back by 2 years. So don't give me this thing that, we need these pharmaceuticals because they're increasing our lifespan. Because then we need to talk about quality versus quantity of age. Like, yeah, you made it to 80 with a walker, with 25 medications, and you need a stay-at-home nurse and all this other stuff, and you need diapers because you can barely get around. You're just sitting on the couch. Whatever, man. So here's the incentives here, okay? Prescription medications, the market value of them in 2018, $335 billion a year, okay?
With a B.
With a B. 335 billion for the year of 2018. By 2026, the expectation, the projections for the prescription medication markets is $875 billion. So damn near $1 trillion in prescription medications. Please explain to me how these people are incentivized to help solve any chronic illness issue when they're looking at $1 trillion in revenue.
They don't care. They're on a boat.
Exactly. They're on a boat in Monaco 300-foot yacht with the helicopter pad on it while you're at home sick taking 25 pills. Think about that for a second. You got to follow the money on this stuff. When people start talking about, hey, maybe we don't need this much research into pharmaceutical solutions. Maybe we don't need millions of people on 5 or more medications. Maybe there's a different way that involves taking a little bit more responsibility. Maybe we need to figure out how to get people exercising. Maybe we need to figure out our food supply, clean that thing up, make sure that people have access to better food, to actual food, not just Cheetos and crap. And these dudes are over here telling you, no, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If you get sick, just take this pill and enjoy your life. While they're on the boat, eating steak and veggies and fruit, working out. They got personal trainers. They're chilling, getting sunshine, doing all the stuff that you should have been doing so that you didn't have to put money in their pockets. Come on now. Walk with me on this.
I also think that, and I didn't come up with this idea. I was watching a presentation from a company who does gut and vaginal microbiome testing, and they're saying that this should be an annual thing. And the more I'm learning about it, the more I agree with it. Why are we not checking our gut microbiome regularly as a preventative measure? When stuff starts to go off, you don't feel right, you have any reflux, bloating, excessive gas, you could argue skin issues, trouble regulating your blood sugar. Like, we test in our blood, but our blood is like telling us like the after effects, where gut is first line. Gut's like how we absorb things, how we defend against things, how our body communicates with our brain is hugely impacted by the gut. Why is that not being checked at a baseline and as part of optimization of care?
Because you want to solve problems. You don't want to just keep people on a freaking treadmill to keep making money off of them. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
So conventional medicine doesn't do it. Most gastroenterologists won't even do it. They do like a SIBO test if somebody has extreme symptoms. So a patient has to be very much an advocate for themselves and bring up things, where a lot of times I know people, they're like, I hate to bring this up. It's like, no, bring up that you don't feel well. Or it's like, well, your blood work looks good. You're good. You're fine. I don't know why you're feeling this way. You're fine. And so it's like, it might as well tell somebody to calm down. But if we test the thing is that there are things that we can do to test the gut microbiome. I'm doing this for some people. I'm going to do it on myself. I just need to do it. I'm sure once my friend Danielle hears this podcast, she'll be like, ma'am, order the test, which I tell all of you. See if you can. I encouraged my brother to do it. He hasn't done it. I don't think he listens to this anymore, but if he does, this will be a nice little reminder for him. But he went and talked to his gastroenterologist or his GP, I can't remember, about it. They said, no, it's not covered by your insurance. Or he looked at his insurance. Okay, it's not, but your HSA can pay for it. And so I really advocate people to look into that on their own. If you need help navigating that, I'm here. But just at least look into it.
Yeah, it is. What it all comes down to is that this country lives shorter lives and less healthier lives. So think about that. Your lifespan has shrunk. The average lifespan in this country has shrunk. And it's a worst quality of life. So you're a shorter and less healthy life. That's the result. So when we look at the system, in anything that we're using and touting as a solution or touting as a resource or whatever, I'm going to look at anybody would just look at results, right? You're going to hire a trainer. You're going to look at results. You're going to look at, hey, let me see their previous clients or who's their client. Does that person look like they're succeeding in their freaking thing? You're going to hire a nutritionist. Do their clients look like they're succeeding in their pursuit of health, better nutrition, whatever? I'm going to buy a car. Do I see a lot of these cars broken down by the side of the road? Does that make sense? I'm looking at results. Mm-hmm. So when I look at this pharmaceutical system and the current healthcare model that we have in the country, and I see the results. What are the results? Decreased life expectancy in a country with the most access to healthcare, with the most robust healthcare in the world. decreased life expectancy in supposedly the most resource-rich country in the world. Less healthier lifespans in the country with said resources.
So decreased quality of life.
Increased numbers of chronic illness. Increased all-cause mortality numbers for cancer and for heart disease and this sort of thing. Increased diagnoses of issues. So the system that we have in place isn't doing jack diddly squat. Okay? It just isn't. So when are we going to get to a point when we say, you know what, it's time to reconsider? And we need to actually look at, first of all, what's producing these high numbers of disease. Make sense? And how do we change things around to where we can start, our results can be different than what we're getting? Because we're doubling down. Oh, it's because we didn't put them on enough medications. That's what I hear people saying. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, our obesity numbers are through the roof. It's because not enough people are on GLPs.
And now
Let's
they're
figure that
saying
out.
we're not putting them on medications soon enough.
Exactly.
Right?
Now they're talking about you should have put
Yes.
them on them when they were a kid. You know, like this, we're really messing up. We're
It'd be
messing
very
up.
interesting if people under the age of 18 start to have increased rates of type 2 diabetes that require treatment, because I don't know if a lot of these medications have been studied in people under the age of 18.
And what we know about people under the age of 18, they're rubber bands. You could stretch them, you could do whatever, and they bounce right back, right? So if you're 18 years old or 16, 15, 13, and you're gaining weight, small changes are going to yield big results, right? So if we slightly change your diet, instead of eating Chick-fil-A 5 times a week, you eat Chick-fil-A maybe once a week or twice a week.
Yeah.
You're going to get results from that immediately, because it's a child, right? They're young. Everything, quote unquote, should be working in order if we haven't corrupted that with all the BS that we're exposed to. But it's just one of those things that, like, the answer, I feel like, at least, and I got some more things on here, but we're going to save it for another episode. The answer is right in front of your face. It's like right there, you're staring at it, it's tapping you in the nose, but you're like swatting it away. You know what I mean? I like certain government initiatives that are going on right now that are putting a flashlight. They're putting a spotlight on a lot of these issues. I like it. People are mad on other sides of the aisle and other parts, other demographics. They're mad that these things are being looked at. They're mad that pharmaceutical companies are being questioned on the price of pharmaceuticals. They're mad that school lunches are being questioned. They're mad that ingredients in foods are being questioned. They're mad that, nutritional assistance programs are being scrutinized for what they're paying for. And I don't get it. I don't get it, because this is, in my mind, this is the biggest issue that this country has. If we don't solve the health issue, okay, let me tell you again. 15%, $875 billion projection for next year. I'm not talking about in 10 years. I'm talking about for next year in prescription drugs. That's only 15% of the amount of money that this country spends on healthcare. $875 billion is 15% of the problem? Are you serious? Are you serious?
Yeah.
For that kind of money, we should have flying cars and freaking bullet trains like Japan does. Like, what are we talking about? Man, it's wild. This place should look like Dubai for that kind of money. Streets should be clean, highly paved. I mean, guys, it's messing everything else up. And when you don't have a healthy population, the outcomes of the nation are not going to be healthy in other areas, right? Advances, science, whatever, social political issues, everything is permeated by the health of the population. And that's why we're so passionate about this, because I come at it from this direction like, man, if we were to untangle the mess that is the collective health of the country, we would be untangling a bunch of other messes. Mass shootings, depression, suicides, neighbors fighting each other, like people arguing on Twitter. Like we'd solve all these ridiculousness, or at least bring them down to other levels, because healthy people, they kind of you start minding your business and life feels really good when you're in a good place. You look, oh man, I look good. I feel good. You know what? I got a pickleball game to go to and hang out with my friends. I'm going to go do some jujitsu. I don't have time to be arguing on Twitter. I don't have time to contemplate suicide because I got a life to live and it's pretty damn good. That's just the way I see it. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So I think we should talk about what action items. What can you do? So say I'm on 8 medications already.
Yeah.
What do I do? Okay, well, you're on 8 medications. No shame. Okay? It's not your fault. I mean, you've made choices, the consequences, but we're not.
We got to take some responsibility.
Yeah, but it's no point in like assigning blame.
No.
Point,
And
okay?
listen, all of this rant that we threw out here, I'm not poking you in the chest like this is your fault. No. I'm saying, hey, I'm shaking you by the shoulders and saying like, let's get busy. Let's do something about this.
So we're not, yes, this is the PharmaPhobic podcast, but we're not like, if you're on meds, stop them all right now. That's not what we're saying. Let's work on, this is our goals. Let's optimize our health to prevent the need for medication or provide a great platform. So if we need a medication, it works at a lower dose and I don't need to go on others as a consequence. Okay. It reminds me of the the studies about we don't know what these medications do long term. Just real quick, because I think people can understand this. Big scary event happened a few years ago from the virus that shall not be named. Medication came out to help people with it. Paxlovid. Paxlovid was made for people who are at moderate to high risk of needing to go to the hospital of an adverse effect of the virus. And the medication Paxlovid is only covered for people of that risk. To be high risk, to qualify for high risk means you need to have high cholesterol, coronary artery disease, congestive heart failure, asthma, high blood pressure, diabetes. You need to have a comorbidity. Paxlovid interacts with all the medications for coronary artery disease, hypertension. So
meaning it's contraindicated.
Yes, meaning that you have to stop those medications in order to take Paxlovid. So what I'm trying to say here is like the more you invest in your health, the more you remain on 0 to minimal medications, the next time something comes along and you need an emergency medication to save you acutely or to help you acutely, you don't have this laundry list of medications that could potentially interact with it, keeping it from being effective to help you. Okay, not to mention you're going to be healthier at baseline to withstand something that comes along.
Oh, yes, because in that discussion, we have to tail end into the comorbidity factors, which were laid out pretty early on in the situation that shall not be named, pretty early on, because I remember reading the article on a mainstream news freaking publication and being like, if we know this, then we can attack this in different ways and start helping these people that we know who these people are.
Yes.
And we can start helping these people.
Yeah.
Vitamin D deficiencies, obesity rates, high blood sugar rates, like diabetics, asthmatics, all these sort of things that were laid out as comorbidities for this thing that happened to us all. But anyway, that's stuff that was controllable.
Yes,
okay.
What I'm trying to say is that the more we put and invest into our health to prevent the use of medications or to optimize the use of them to keep the doses low, keep the number of them low, the more we can withstand. I think of it, we're getting older. I think of, I need to be able to withstand age-related changes, accidents, whatever that come up. I was faced with this point blank when I was diagnosed with melanoma, and I could, thank God it wasn't severe and the surgery went well, but I had a big bank of muscle health to pull from to handle that. Okay. Our friend Katie, who recently had an accident and had a below the knee amputation, had a huge bank of health and muscle to pull from. She's at the gym working out. Like, it's not easy, but she's doing amazing. Mm-hmm. She's more active than a lot of people who have all 4 limbs fully capable.
Yep.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that if we invest in our health and we take the time now to make ourselves robust, healthy, optimal, that's going to prevent a lot of things and help you withstand future things. I'm keeping it very vague. Okay, how do you do that? All right. Like we say, our pillars with Achieve the Lifestyle. You focus on your nutrition. If you need to hire a nutrition coach, work with a dietitian, let us know. We can help you, or we can point you to a direction of somebody. And like we've said before, there's a ton of free content out there with with dietitians. We can share a couple with you just to kind of keep the burden of information low. Hire a coach for exercise, personal training, strength training, even if it's a short amount of time. Or there's a lot of great trainers you can follow on Instagram that give good content. You, Darwin, I can think of a ton. Manage your stress.
Or jump on a program, by the way. Shout out Train Heroic.
Yes.
You can go on there and shop workout programs by need, low monthly costs, follow a program, because people that don't stick to the gym is usually because they don't have a program and they're just going in there and doing whatever and be like, I don't know what to do, so I just don't go. So don't be that person.
Yeah, we have a client right now
Shout out Train Heroic.
That I'm working with, but she doesn't want to, she's paying me to work with me. She doesn't also want to pay Dan for training, which we kind of a la carte it, so that's fine. But that doesn't mean that Dan and I don't sit down and recommend programs on Train Heroic for her. We point her in that direction. More than happy to do that for anybody. Yep. Managing stress, resolving traumas. That's a huge, huge thing. There's the podcast Breakdown had a person on there. I can get the name of it. Great 2-part episodes of addressing trauma, the need to do it, why it's so crucial for your health.
Yeah, we'll go into that in a future episode.
Getting exposure to nature, getting sunlight, adequately hydrating yourself. What's another one of our social connections?
Notice that none of these really are. There's nothing fancy here. I'm not telling you that you need to do some crazy biohacking routine where you jump into a cold plunge and do 2 backflips and then get out head first and go into a sauna for 3 hours. I'm not telling you to do any of that. I'm not telling you that you need to you need to do this crazy workout combined with this crazy diet and fast for 32 hours exactly. I'm not saying any of that. This is super basic.
Yeah.
Eat real food. Hang out with cool people, and people that love you and that you love them. Lift some damn weights 2 times a week, guys. 2 times a week. Lift some weights.
Yeah.
Go on walks. Get as close to 10,000 steps as you can consistently, preferably outside so that you can enjoy some nature and get some sun on your skin. Hey, go to sleep. Don't stay up binging on Netflix or playing video games. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Go to sleep. If you're tired, be quiet and go to sleep. That's bars right there. That's a song.
So the podcast is Breakdown. The host is the woman who played Blossom. And the guest is Dr. Amy Appigan. Anyway, check it out if you have any concerns of unresolved trauma. And with that...
Yeah, I think that we beat that up.
Yeah. So reach out to us with any questions, concerns. You want to work with us, you have just want to be pointed in the right direction, email us at info@achievethelifestyle.com. Follow us at Achieve the Lifestyle on Instagram. Check out our website, achievethelifestyle.com.
Yeah, guys, we're stewards of health. Like, if you need pointing in the right direction, I'll gladly do that for you. Before you get put on 25 meds and become a statistic, we would gladly point you, be like, hey, this is my financial constraint. What can I afford? Be like, hey, do this instead. Boom. Free of charge. It's just us giving advice to you. Gladly point people in the right direction as long as we're pointing them down that path of long-term health, for sure. All sorts of recommendations, we got them. Tell you what supplements you need, tell you what supplements you don't need, that sort of thing. How to save some money at the grocery store. That's what we do, okay? And that's what I just want to see: a healthier nation, a healthier population. I want to see everybody thrive. And you see what I'm saying? That's what we want to do. That's what it comes down to. I'm not here to buy a private yacht and go to Monaco, baby, on the back of your unhealthiness. We ain't here to do that.
Nope.
So with that in mind, we're out. And don't forget, guys, stay pharma free. Thanks for listening to the PharmaPhobic podcast. If you found this conversation interesting, which I know you did, Make sure to follow us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And also make sure to check us out on Instagram at Achieve the Lifestyle. And if you're interested in pursuing a stronger, healthier, more capable version of yourself, check out our website at achievethelifestyle.com.
The PharmaPhobic podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views expressed are those of the hosts and guests and do not constitute medical, legal, or professional advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider before making any medical or wellness decisions. While we discuss pharmaceutical, holistic, and alternative health topics, our content is not a substitute for professional medical guidance.